Hey guys, Fox here. Just wanted to do a quick review. I know it's not something I do a lot on my channel as, I don't know, I'm just not really good at reviews. I usually feel like I leave something out or I say something fucking stupid that doesn't make any sense or something like that, so I usually don't do them. I don't like the way I film them, but I really wanted to talk about Stella Glow. It was a real pleasant surprise to play this game. I had an absolute blast with it. I kind of rolled the dice on it. Wasn't initially sure if I was going to buy the game or not. As Legend of Legacy was coming out first, you had these two Atlas titles coming out back to back, and I was like, I don't know, if I have time to play both of them. Do I want to spend the money on them right now? And after doing some research, I went ahead and canceled some other things and got both Legend of Legacy and Stella Glow. I mean, I haven't dived into Legend of Legacy yet, but they're two completely different games. The thing that pulled me in to initially want to play Stella Glow was the fact that it was a strategy RPG, and I liked the artwork. I liked Atlas was behind it, and I don't know, I was like, fuck it, I'm getting it. So you get the day one edition here, or whatever, the first print, and you get this nice little long box here of that seems to be a common thing nowadays for the 3DS special editions, or first print. Which is nice. They come with a lot of free goodies. This one came with the little boo-boo pig keychain, the cloth-like poster of Hilda there, and it came with a soundtrack, which is somewhere else. It's probably in my computer. I was happy. So, I was in between 3DS games at the time, so I just popped it in, and holy shit, guys, was I surprised. First thing that I noticed was how gorgeous this game was. The attention to detail that they put in just the backgrounds. The background scenes, when the characters are talking, and when you're not fighting, was just... I just couldn't get how gorgeous they looked, how much detail, every little bit they put in there. For instance, with like Alto's room... when you first get in the room, it's barren. It was a storage closet at first. There's just a bed in there, some shelves, a table, and nothing else. But by the time you get to the end of the game, it's fully decorated with shit from your adventures around the world, different bits and trinkets and stuff from the various places that you visited. I just thought that detail was fantastic, and I just enjoyed looking at the backgrounds of every place I went, from the item shop to the orb shop, just looking at each city, when you went in there. Just the art direction of this game was fantastic, guys. Absolutely love it. The second thing that really blew me away was the writing in this game. You have to excuse me there. I couldn't get over how well this game was written, how each character just had such a unique and fantastic personality. Nobody was the same. Nobody felt like a typecast style RPG player. Even your protagonist, Alto, was just... he was a joy. He was real. You felt for him. He grew, just like all the other characters did, including all the witches. And you did specific story events with each of the witches. And you got to see them grow. You got to learn so much about them. The way they just wrote this game and how you did your tuning with each of the witches. I don't know. I'm trying to be as spoiler-free as possible here, guys, so I'm not trying to give it away. I'm just trying to give the game its praise that it deserves. Yeah, the writing, fantastic. Another big surprise, which is... it's more common nowadays because a lot of video games are getting a lot more... trying to think of the word I want to fucking say. I don't know, but the voice acting. You know, there's a lot better voice acting in video games nowadays, as it's more recognized as a true form of entertainment art. So the voice acting in this game was really good. I enjoyed it. It didn't sound forced. It didn't sound like they were trying to just rush through it and do this, given these shitty, lines or anything like that. And maybe that has to partly do with how well the game was written too. Um, Good stuff. The story. The story was, honestly, the story might have been the weakest part of the game, and then that's not saying it's a bad thing at all. The story was good. It may not have been great, but the story was good. But that's okay. Having a good story with strong characters, good writing, uh, uh, good voice acting that doesn't hurt, and a solid battle system, you got a great fucking game right there. Which leads me to the battle system. It's your typical strategy RPG format. You got your turn-based grid with certain characters that can move a certain distance. You can increase it via items or stuff that you can equip. Different style attacks. Some have ranged attacks, some don't. Each character had a very different, unique, and useful moveset. And even for the weaker characters, I'll go ahead and say who I thought were weak characters. Please, by all means, use them. They're still useful in their own rights, but they are in the weaker front. And I would just say Ewan was rather weak and not terribly useful. If you didn't level up Archibald and get your affinity high with him, he was rather weak because he needs movement help and that kind of stuff. He's just so fucking slow. But in my second playthrough, I definitely leveled him up and used him a lot more. But I enjoyed the combat. I never regretted. Oh shit! Here's another combat that I have to get through because typically your battles would take a decent amount of time depending on the battle. Your usual battle would probably still take you minimum 15 minutes, most 30 minutes. Your much larger grand scheme battles, I had some battles last over an hour. That's because I wasn't sure what the fuck I was doing or how to approach the battle. There were a couple times where I lost and had to rethink my plan, redo my battle plan, and get back into the game, and then I would own it. I would okay, so this is what's going to happen here. I know what I'm going to change. I know what items I'm going to equip to certain people. I know how I'm going to approach this battle. So the game did have a decent amount of difficulty. I wouldn't say this is a very hard game by any means, but it did have a bit of a learning curve for certain battles. You would go in there and you could get your ass handed to you if you're sticking to a certain way. But if you're willing to change it up and really think about how you need to approach everything, then it could have been actually easy. So the battle system was fun, a lot of fun, a lot of unique things about it. You have your characters that really do well at defending, guarding, that kind of stuff. You have your high, fast attackers. You have your magic users, which were pretty much your witches, which some are stronger in the magic field than others. Some are stronger in attacks, like Sakuya, the Fire Witch, or you had characters that were kind of in between. They had decent magic and they had decent attacks, like Popo. So, I can't give this game enough praise, guys. I have to highly suggest that you give this game a shot. Give it a go. It's worth your time. I don't know if there's a demo on the eShop or not, but I would say give it a shot if you can. it's well worth your time. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about the game that I forgot about. There's 2 endings to the game. I'll go ahead and tell you guys that. Normal ending and a true ending. I got the true ending because I only checked after I beat the game. I wasn't 100% sure how I got the true ending. There is a way. I'm not going to say how because it would just give away too many spoilers. And I don't want to do that to you guys who haven't played the game or who have gotten all the way through the game. So, anything else I want to say about the game? About the characters or anything like that? You know, I like the game as a whole, guys. And I'd have to say that Stella Glow would really work its way into my top 3DS games. I can't quite tell if I like this game more than Fire Emblem Awakening or not. It's hard to say. I really did enjoy Awakening. But it's really up there. This probably a tie for my #1 3DS game. Oh, okay, so another thing I wanted to mention. This game is worth a second playthrough, as you can race through it pretty quickly on your second playthrough. My first playthrough, by the way, guys, took me about 56 hours. My second playthrough only took me 20. So, well, that's because I could skip all the cinematics, all the story, all that shit, and not worry about it. But during the first playthrough of the game, you get these free time elements, and that's where you use to either gain affinity with the different characters in your party, or you can go try to get some extra money or explore, all that stuff. Fuck that exploring, fuck getting extra money. You don't need it. You can get plenty of extra money through battles that doesn't take up your free time. You always do affinity with your characters. So at the most, I tried my hardest, but at the beginning of the game I didn't know that, so I think at the most you can get 3 characters max with their affinity on your first playthrough. But when you do a second playthrough, you get 3 times the amount of free time, so you can max your affinity with every character. So that's just one thing I want to mention. So if you do beat it, you can easily go through a second time and just blaze through the game and get the different endings. Not just the true ending. So at the very end of the credit roll, you get to do character endings, which is completely separate. So regardless of whether you get a normal ending or a true ending, you can do these character endings where you get to select one of the characters that you have max affinity with. Sorry about the camera shake there, guys. And you get to see a special ending with them. My favorites, absolutely, which I think most people would agree, have to be with Lizette and Hilda. But Sakura was enjoyable. Morty Mort was kind of enjoyable as well. So, anyways, guys, I want to thank you for all listening to this quick review, which wasn't very fucking quick. It's over 13 minutes now. But I just really wanted to share my thoughts on Stella Glow, my praise, and why I liked it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching.